Woody, let's talk about this extra point rule change. How do you think the Broncos will react? What will be their strategy here? What do you think Gary Kubiak will do? And if they do go for the 2-point more frequently than in the past, how are they going to do that? Who are the players that they'll rely on to convert the 2 points?
I think that because of the significance of this, and we haven't heard anything out of the Broncos, and I want to try and get in touch with Gary Kubiak this week if possible and talk to him about it, because I believe from a distance Gary Kubiak is a conservative coach. I don't see him being a guy that wants to make liberal use of, I'm using the terms conservative and liberal here, but I don't think he's going to want to do it all the time. Mike Kliss, formerly of the Denver Post, now with Channel 9, wrote a piece the other day, said that from the 2-yard line, Peyton Manning was successful 74% of the time. I need to go back and look at that piece and see if that was running and passing. It wasn't Peyton Manning running, but the one time he's run for the Denver Broncos in that situation, he scored a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys in a big victory in Dallas. As I said, I'm going to write a column. Let me give you a name, and you think I'm going to bring up Tim Tebow.
Okay.
And this has been called the Tim Tebow rule in a lot of places. Let me give you a name. Think about this for a few days, or respond immediately. Michael Vick.
Yeah. Tremendous weapon from down there. Still can run. Sure. I'm gonna.
You got one?
Yeah, I do. How about this? Brock Osweiler. We keep talking about Brock Osweiler as a guy who's more mobile than Peyton Manning, who can run Gary Kubiak's offense pretty efficiently. What about on the 2-point conversion, taking Peyton out and putting Brock Osweiler in, because he is a better runner than Peyton. He does provide yet another threat. Brock Osweiler at quarterback if you're going for 2 points.
I like that response.
And you like tall guys, so they can just fall over into the end zone.
Not from 2 yards. He's not tall enough. At 6'7", we decided yesterday that 2 yards equals 6 feet, correct?
Yes.
He's 6'7". He's going to fall a little short.
If he's under center. If he's under center.
Yeah.
Not from the shotgun, though.
2-yard line is a tough quarterback. Do you trust Brock Osweiler to be passing at the goal line instead of Peyton Manning on a 2-point conversion?
Well, the pass is one of 3 things he can do. He can hand off, he can run it himself, or he can throw it. If they practice it enough, yeah, absolutely. Here's something else. Virgil Green, tight end, ran the ball for the Broncos a little bit last year. James Casey, a tight end they just signed, he's run the ball a few times in his NFL career. Jawan Thompson is a hell of a runner between the tackles. So they do have options there. And, of course, Peyton throwing to somebody, if Peyton's the quarterback for the 2-point conversion, sure. But I think it's interesting. But you're absolutely right. It might be a futile exercise for us to discuss what they'll do for going for 2 points, because as Randy Harvey of the Houston Chronicle told us yesterday, after covering Gary Kubiak for 8 years as the head coach of Houston, Gary's very conservative. My guess is, and there's word coming out of the NFL meetings this week, my guess is that you're going to see most teams kicking the extra point most of the time, even though it's 32, 33 yards now.
All right, one final question.
Except for Chip Kelly, of course, who will probably go for 2 points every time.
All right, the Broncos were in St. Louis last year and Cincinnati, games they lost.
Yeah.
In St. Louis, that was a winnable game, 22-6.
Yeah, but at halftime it was very close.
Yeah. That don't you think, or do you think, let me put that the correct way, because when you say don't you think, that's a salesman tool to get you to agree with it. Do you think that teams that are behind by 16, 18 points will go for it for 2 every time they score a touchdown? Is that the tool is that how you use it? Because you and Mark Kisler both agree that you shouldn't use it until it's necessary.
Unless you absolutely have to.
But if you're down 21-6 in the fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, you score, don't you start going for it?
Oh, yeah, I do. I believe at that point you have to start going for it. There's a point at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, where you have to start thinking about it if you're down by a certain number of points. If you're down by a touchdown, no.
We wouldn't see John Fox doing that, so I mean, and I don't see him doing that in Chicago.
Yeah, does it scare you? We're talking about Gary Kubiak being conservative on offense. That was one of the criticisms a lot of people had of John Fox.
Except that John Fox never had anything to do with the offense. He was a big story guy. He made the change from Cal Orton to Tim Tebow. He ordered that change. There's still questions to this day. You believe John Elway was responsible for that? John Fox told me it was his decision. He was real emphatic about it. So he was very conservative, but he wasn't really in control of the offense. Adam Gase was in charge. He was conservative when he would say to Gase, "I kick a field goal here." That's the control he did have.
Ultimate decision maker on the field. All right, that was brought to you by Blake Street Tavern. All right.